So I've talked about a lot of bad fan bases over the course of my channel time, whether it be certain WWE fans or certain fans of certain video games or certain cartoon fan bases. You name it. Okay, and I talked about Super Smash Bros. Melee and how entitled that fan base is, and I do definitely think that is, in my opinion, the worst video game fan base. But there is one that takes a close second, in my opinion, and that's the Mortal Kombat fan base. Now, not every single fan is like I'm going to describe here. It's, like I said, not a rabid fan base, not an entitled fan base like I talked about with Super Smash Bros. Melee, or this. Actually, this type of fan base, in my opinion, is a very immature and whiny fan base. Like a lot of these Mortal Kombat fans just whine and complain over the littlest things that Ed Boon changes in the game. Like in Mortal Kombat 11, I've seen so many people whine and complain just about the female characters wearing more clothing. Like, is that really such a big deal? Is it really such a big deal for them to have more clothing on? Like, at least they can still fight in the game. Like these particular fans are whining about the fact that the female characters in Mortal Kombat 11 are not scantily clad anymore. Is that really such a big deal? Like Mortal Kombat is a gory fighting game, not a sex game. Like seriously. So many fans of Mortal Kombat whine over the smallest things in the game. And I talked about this before. I talked about this before in like an almost 2 minute rant. There's so many Mortal Kombat fans that have been complaining about the release dates for the upcoming DLC characters from Mortal Kombat 11. They lack so much patience. They're whiny. They're impatient. They're immature. Like, oh my god. Like, some of these fans need to understand that the reason why the release dates are ahead of time like that, it's probably because they're putting a lot of thought and effort and creativity into the DLC characters. And if they rush the project, then they would be very bland DLC characters. Like they could there could be characters like there's people that are ranting about Spawn being released in March, okay? Like Spawn has the most potential out of all the DLC characters that are upcoming in this particular combat pack. And fans are whining about it's taken a long time for him to be released. I don't want a Predator reoccurrence, okay? Like in Mortal Kombat X, Predator had such great potential as a DLC character in that game. But he ended up being such a very bland character. Like I don't know how long it took them to actually make the Predator and put a lot of time into the Predator in the game. But I guess if it took a shorter amount of time than it does for Spawn to be released, I guess that's the reason that I was talking about. Did they rush the Predator? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. It definitely felt like it did because he was given such bland fatalities in Mortal Kombat X. I don't want the same thing to happen to Spawn, okay? I want Spawn to have a lot of great thought and creativity put into him. Like I want him to have a good combat style, and I want him to have really cool fatalities. Like, and I think that the release dates are a very good reason for that. And these fans are whining about the amount of time it's taking for the character to be released. Anyways, all that stuff is said beside the point. Mortal Kombat fans, a lot I've seen are so whiny. Like they are just so whiny and complaining and immature about the littlest things in the game. Like just a small change, like putting more clothing on the female characters. But that is not a big deal as long as they can still fight and perform gory fatalities. That's all that matters, in my opinion. You're complaining about them having more clothing? Jesus Christ. That's such a little thing to complain about. And like I said, with the release dates, gain some patience. Gain some patience, okay? Things take time in video games to be good. Whiny.